Hi, this is Caitlin,
And this is Gabby.
and welcome back to AvengeGirls and Friends. And today we are we are discussing my favorite Fast and Furious movie besides Fast Five, and also the saddest one. Would you say now that you
I
watched it?
I mean, I would say the saddest one, knowing like why it ended the way it did. Every time Brian had like a conversation with someone, I was
Yeah,
like, oh, this has extra emotional
yeah,
resonance because he died.
it does. Okay, actually, can we actually start there? Because apparently I was looking up like, oh, which scenes did they have to use CGI
Hmm.
um, for Brian. And apparently they had to rewrite parts of the movie in order to explain his absence because they were like in the middle of filming it when he died.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so like that's I think why my guess why Brian doesn't have like as main a role as he does in the other ones, where it's like kind of equal Brian and Dom, and this one Dom was kind of like taking the lead. And so I just wonder like so for example, one of those things that you're talking about, like when he calls Mia and she's like, don't say goodbye, right? Like say
Right.
something else. Yeah, and I was like, was that already in the script? Did they already like plan that, or was that something that they had to add and like, you know what I mean?
Did they write that in on purpose because of
Yeah,
what happened? No, I
yeah.
see what you're saying.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the answer to that is, but like it just seems like something that was like born out of trying to give a good send off to Paul Walker. But also like that's definitely him in the scene. It's not like it's one of his brothers or CGI.
Right.
So I don't know.
Might have to do some like digging around
Heavy,
just to
heavy
like out of
research.
curiosity.
Yeah. Again, once again, I would love to just talk with Justin Lin and Vin
Please let
Diesel.
me talk to the Fast and Furious writers.
Yeah. I want to
I
know.
think I will also say about the way that they incorporated the CGI and everything. I want to preface this. I'm bad at telling when something is CGI, honestly. Like I cannot
Yeah.
well, like unless it's like very obviously like a lot of like the Leia scenes in
Yes.
Star Wars. But like in general, I'm very bad at telling, and I had a little bit of trouble telling with this.
Yeah, it
But
was
like,
really good.
so my point is, they did a much better job than the Star Wars movies at working around the death of an
Yeah,
actor. Like they
that's
A
a good
plus
point.
job, guys.
Yeah, and I wonder like why that is, to be honest. Like I feel like the Star Wars people should have reached out and been like, "So, what company did you use? What did you do?" You know what I mean? Because like it was excellent. The only time you can really, at least for me personally, that I could like tell was the very ending scene. And to be honest, for most of my like experience with this movie, I thought it was just the ending scene that they had CGI'd. But no, there's like a whole list of other
Yeah,
scenes.
I didn't realize it
But
was that many. I did
yeah,
literally think it was just like the last couple of
right?
scenes, but wow,
Yeah,
there were so many more than I expected.
yeah. So that you're right. That's like amazing.
Yeah, no, I bet they didn't reach out because I mean it's Lucasfilm. They have ILM. Like they're the
Yeah,
industry like standard. And actually we should probably check
awkward.
and see if ILM is the one that did like
Oh,
the
that's a
Paul
good.
Walker ones too,
Yeah.
you know, but the way they did everything, it worked really well.
It was a good send off.
I feel like I was anticipating that final scene the entire time I was watching it, like, oh no,
Yeah.
this is the one. It's
Yeah. Like
gonna be
how are they
bad.
gonna
It's like, oh, okay, I have to go to the grocery store now. The world has to continue as normal, but Paul Walker is dead.
God, I remember I remember when it happened, and obviously it's terrible, and I didn't even know him obviously, but like you still cry. It's someone who you look up to in movies. But I also remember like being in theaters watching this movie, and like everyone, like grown men, like
Oh
were
no.
crying. It was like one of those like united experiences in a theater, but like for a really sad reason.
I do love
Yeah.
those though.
And
Oh
also a
man.
small aside though, I did look it up, and it wasn't Lucasfilm or ILM. It was, I'm gonna mispronounce this, Weta Digital,
Oh,
WETA.
Weta. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
they did a lot of stuff for Lord of the Rings.
Yes, I was gonna say it was founded by Peter Jackson and other people, so that's amazing to me. Wow, they have a long list. They did Avatar. Sorry,
Which
getting
one?
very subjective.
The quote unquote good one or the bad one?
Is the quote unquote good one the James Cameron
Yes.
alien one? Yes,
That's
yes.
the quote unquote good one, and the bad one
That's
is
so
just the
funny.
live action Airbender
Yeah.
movie.
We love cars. Today, I drove to Starbucks and I was driving back. And these car, it was trafficy a little bit that time of day, and there are two cars who like started to like weave in and out, like trying to like beat each other almost. And I was like, Mom, we are in the Fast and Furious universe. They're racing. We don't know, but they're racing to the death.
We are just side characters in the world.
Okay, there's so many other good parts about this movie, just even outside of like the clearly obvious like Paul Walker attributes. Ramsey is one of my favorite characters ever in the Fast and Furious universe.
Oh, she was so cool.
Right? Like,
I have to ask just because I want to know, like, is she in the next one?
Yes, yeah. She's like a part of the family now.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
cool. I was worried about that.
Yeah. Because in this movie, they don't really like solidify her as the family, because I feel like they would have if Paul Walker hadn't died. They would have had another barbecue and like she would have been like, I don't know, had a line about like family. But they solidify her more in the next movie.
Okay, cool.
Ugh. The next movie is I like to pretend it doesn't exist.
Oh.
So, no. But we're not here to talk about that right now.
Right. We're talking about Ramsey and her pitch perfect assessment of the team.
Oh my god.
Like,
yes. Right?
That was excellent trope identification.
She read them back and front.
It was very impressive. I'm like, okay, so Ramsey in her off time from hacking writes fanfic, like, obviously, because
about these guys.
Because she, not even about them, just because she can identify the different like team elements so well.
She's a fan of heist films.
Probably.
Big Oceans fan, maybe.
Yes.
I also like that. I mean, yeah, she's like a genius hacker, right? But at the same time, she's just like, do not touch me. Like, I am so not used to any of this. What is going on? Like, she may be a hacker, but she's never been in this kind of like action-y like setting before. And it was such like a refreshing thing to see, because every other character is like, I've lived this life forever, you know? She's the one who's like, no.
Just because it's a life of crime doesn't mean it's a life of action crime. Like, no, that's not how this works.
Yeah. Roman was kind of right. She does sit behind her computer.
I did also really like, because you mentioned that your headcanon is that Ramsey's a fan of Ocean's movies.
Yeah.
This had a very like Ocean's vibe to it, especially when they're in the skyscraper trying to like steal the car. That was a very Ocean's vibe, which I enjoyed, because you know how I feel about those.
I do. Gotta do a season on those.
We should. Okay. But I loved that short conversation when Dom and Brian are looking at the prince's car, and they're like, okay, this is sad. This makes me sad. Dom is all poetic, and Brian's like, I'm gonna punch that fucking guy in the face for doing this.
So funny. Nothing sadder than locking a beast in a cage.
Or punch him in the face.
Literally, like, all of the lines in this, like, they upped the cheesiness level to 10 in this movie. Like,
I think they did.
I feel like, I mean, they've always been a bit cheesy, but these lines, like what's the one? I had it written down. I don't know if I got rid of it. Where he says, Dom at the end, he's like, the thing about street fights, the street always wins.
I love that. Like, yes, it does. It does.
It like eats Shaw. Oh my god. Yeah.
Also, I would like to say that them ending up just taking the car is what I would like to call the Nick Cage gambit, as popularized in the classic film National Treasure. Like, I won't just steal the thing. I'll steal the thing is in, and we'll deal with this later.
It's smart, you know? You gotta, as I think Don says, you gotta act on the fly in moments like these.
The fly, literally, as we drive a car between 3 different skyscrapers. That was fucking insane, even for them. Yeah. The thing is, like, Brian's like, what are you doing? No. And, like, 3 movies ago, I'd have been like, okay, Brian is the one choosing to do this. And now he's like, I can't do this. I can't do this.
Because he wasn't driving, right? Oh, that too. That's the real, like, hint towards the ending. Like, it wasn't, this is where he was always kind of going towards in this movie, because he got scared. He got scared in that moment.
It's like, no, let's not do this.
Yeah. he was like, what do you have? And I was like, I have a car and 3 skyscrapers. And Brian went, no!
And literally, I knew this was coming, like, the second at the beginning of the movie where Jack was playing with the car and he threw it, and Brian's like, cars don't fly. And I was like, oh, but they will, won't they?
They will. There were so many, like, funny callbacks like that to the beginning of the movie. Like,
That's true.
I mean, that's actually my favorite one, where he's like, cars don't fly. But then there's the one where the guy who works for, what's his name, Mose, like locks him in the bus, and so you think, oh no, Brian's gonna die, and he's like, too slow. And then at the end, like when Brian like attaches him and the guy goes shoo down the elevator or whatever, there's no reason for Brian to have said this in this moment. Like, it doesn't make sense, but he goes, too slow.
It's like you have to at that point. That's just a convention of action movies.
Exactly.
Let's talk about, really quick, let's talk about, can we fucking talk about Shaw and how much I hate him?
Yes, okay, thank you. Like, this is what I don't get, because in the very, very beginning of the movie, you see him doing this really, like, annoying speech, right? And it's like, okay, whatever, I get your, like, siblings and you're, like, kind of crazy. But then you go back and you realize he's killed, like, all of these people just because he wanted to, like, visit his brother, who's alive, by the way. It's not like they killed him. And then he decides, you know what, I'm just gonna kill everyone involved in this. And they have the audacity to humanize him and make him, like, a part of the family in the next movie. That's, like, a spoiler a little bit, but also I think I've talked about this before.
Plus, I know that Hobbs and Shaw exist, so the entire time I'm watching this, I'm like, absolutely not. How are you possibly doing this?
It's like, I don't get it. I think because, like, what's his name? Who's the guy who plays Shaw?
Jason Statham.
Shoot, Jason Statham. Yeah, he was, like, hot when this movie came out. You know what I mean? So I think they wanted to, like, capitalize on that and bring him back, you know, moneymaker. But it just doesn't make sense. The idea that, like, this, not even that he killed Han. That's like that's terrible, obviously. But he killed so many people, and you're just gonna be like, you're part of us now.
There's only one room for one killer of Hans to be redeemed.
Yes, and his
throwing that out there.
His name was Ben, not Shaw. God.
Because, like, and that's my thing, because, and I still don't even remember what the excuse was, but, like, I was wondering why Shaw, who I thought was a British operative, was such a renegade. I'm like, I don't even remember what the explanation was. Do you?
No. I mean, it was...
He just decided he wanted to kill people, I guess. Like...
Which, like, that's so bad, right?
Okay.
I don't get it 100%. It's just, how do you, like, why? I guess, like, money reasons, yeah. And also, if you look into, like, the drama behind these movies, a lot of the cast, with the exception of Statham and Dwayne, were really pissed with the 8th movie. Because they felt like it wasn't, like, a proper Fast and Furious movie. Like, it didn't make sense.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And I know they've made some comments about, like, the ninth one being like, this is a Fast and Furious movie.
Okay.
like kind of, like, pointed comments. So it, like, makes sense, at least in my head, that all these, like, bad things happen in the 8th because for some reason, it seems like they didn't have as much creative control over it, which is weird. But it's still annoying to think about after this movie. He's a bad guy. I don't care how you humanize him later. Like, you need to humanize him, like, canonically. Why can't we have, like, a bad guy be a villain without, like, making him a hero? You know what I mean? Like, you could still be a likable character and be a villain.
Yeah, no, it's definitely true. And also, like, that's the same joke twice. You already did that with Dwayne. Like,
That's
you can't
true.
do that twice in a row.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And Dwayne in this movie is funny, and I think a part of me now, knowing that, like, they had to rewrite certain stuff because of Paul Walker's death, makes me wonder if, like, originally he wasn't gonna come back at the end of the movie, like, he was just gonna be in the beginning, but then they needed, like, I don't know, extra footage and something. Maybe. So they brought him back in, because, like, him arriving, literally, it was like, shows up 2 hours late with coffee and, like, this huge gun.
Yes.
Like, After stealing an ambulance from the hospital
Okay,
and
I did
destroying.
really enjoy that whole thing, though.
Yeah, it was
I'm
funny.
glad that he kind of was like loosened up in this movie and was more like I kind of expected the character to be originally, so that was good too.
Yeah.
I appreciate, and also he has a fucking daughter.
I know,
Like,
right?
I'm like, whoa, hold up, what?
Yeah. Can you imagine the guy from Fast Five having a daughter? Like,
Absolutely not.
blows my mind. It was like they needed to make him more femme somehow. They were like,
I mean, it worked.
it did work,
Definitely.
yeah. Daddy's got to go to work. Flexes his like.
Do you have anything else you need to say? You want to say about like Dwayne or Jason Statham?
Nope, not right now. No.
Except for the fact that how dare you do that to the Toretto house, young man?
Oh my God,
I'm like,
yeah.
excuse you, you blew up the house. And then I tweeted
Just
about
got it
it, and then I
back.
realized it was even funnier because my icon is still Paul Walker. He's like, how dare you? That is my best friend's house that I also live in.
Yes, because we're the ideal family here.
Yeah. Let's talk about the fact that fucking Kurt Russell is in this movie.
Yeah.
What is he doing here? And the interesting thing as we progress is like I'm realizing all the people that are in these movies that I wouldn't expect. I was like, Ronda Rousey? Who is she? What is she doing here?
Oh yeah, wait, I forgot about that.
And Kurt Russell, like I had no idea that fucking Kurt Russell was in this. I was like, okay, interesting.
Yeah. What a great character.
Yeah, so like the guest choices have been very interesting to me as like they go on.
It's like the more power they have as a franchise, the more people they can just bring in willy-nilly.
Right.
Like I'm sure they were just like, you want to go for Kurt Russell? Yeah, let's call Kurt Russell.
Let's call Kurt. It'll be fine. Yeah, that character was very interesting, and like I like didn't trust him is the thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Through the whole thing, I was like, he's the villain
on that
somehow.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know how, but he's giving me very Mr. Wednesday from American Gods vibes, and I don't care for it.
But that's like the best part of his character, I think, is that like you think you know exactly who he is. Villain, right? Clearly double crossing. But no, he's just he's literally nobody. Like he just goes in and out and does whatever he wants and then winks like Santa and like taps his nose.
That was wild.
North Pole.
I think he had to.
Right?
The helicopter was being flown by elves. They were coming to get him.
That's why he was like, just leave me here. I have my own health insurance. Yeah. Start speaking Elvish. Oh, can we briefly talk about the like character arc, I suppose, that Letty goes through in this?
Oh, totally.
Okay. I feel like we don't talk enough about Letty at all, even though she's probably my favorite character outside of like Dom and Brian. But like I really wanted them when I first watched this, and I still believe this, to like have them fall in love with how she is now. Like I think that's a more powerful and interesting story. Like creating new memories and like moving on from there instead of like, oh, I have to remember myself and I can't be with you. I mean, that makes sense, her walking away. Like that was, total High School Musical 2, gotta go my own way. It was great. But I think it would have been more interesting for her to come back and be like, this is me, you should just accept me and let's get remarried or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that.
I do think that would have been really good as well. I mean, I also think this is maybe like the one acceptable instance of I know I need to find myself before a breakup. Like this is legit mostly because of the memory loss. I'm like, okay, I understand that because you want to understand like more about yourself and who you theoretically like were quote unquote supposed to be before that happened. So I get that, but I think for the relationship it would have been interesting to have it progress that way, but at the same time, Letty is more than like the relationship she's in, so it makes sense for her to want to go and like rediscover her personal identity. So
and I know we need the like action to stick with Dom and Brian basically, but I would have loved to like see what she did in between her leaving and then like coming back because Mr. Nobody called her.
That would have been interesting.
I want my spin-off movie with all the ladies. They don't get enough screen time.
Yeah, that
or
would have been
story.
really cool. I would have been interested in
Yeah.
seeing what she was up to then.
Maybe she's chilling with Monica Fuentes, remember from the second
Maybe.
movie?
Oh
Because I
yeah,
think they were like friends, right? Kind of.
maybe.
Or no. Maybe they're not friends. I want them to be friends.
Fair.
I think Monica was the one who told them that Letty was alive. Is that correct? Am I dreaming that up?
I thought it was.
Oh no, it was Don. No, what's his name? Hobbs?
Yeah.
Fast Five?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I'm losing my mind, Gabby.
We are. They're starting to like. And the
They're
problem
all
is that
going
I feel
together.
like as they become more actiony, it's harder to keep track of like actual plot events, which is
Yes.
unfortunate. And there's also like less to talk about somehow too, which
Yes.
also
Yeah.
sucks.
Because at this point, it's like every Fast and Furious movie is like 75% just action scenes that you don't have to watch to understand the plot of the movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like Power Rangers, where you don't have to watch the Zord fights.
I gotcha. But there is like one other like major thing that I think we could talk about, unless you're not done talking about
I'm good.
Letty and stuff. That conversation between Dom and Mia at the
Oh,
beginning
yeah.
of the movie, because she can see kind of what like this relationship is doing to Brian and how
Yeah.
he feels trapped, and she doesn't want to make things worse by like insisting that he not get involved in these like super dangerous stunty heist
Yeah.
type of things. And Tom is like being both such a big brother and also being torn because
He gets it.
because
Yeah.
A, he gets it, and B, like he loves Mia, so he's automatically like, okay, well, he's gonna do whatever is best for you because I said so. But
Yeah.
also he very much identifies with Brian, so he's like, yeah, that's not gonna go well.
Yeah. Because he's been, well, not necessarily been in that situation, because I think Letty has a very different opinion on all of this than Mia does. But if he was in that situation, he'd be the same. He knows.
Yeah.
So, and that's actually something that I think is really great about this movie. And I say that every time ever since I think the fifth one, is that these movies have like actual like themes and messages, right? Like, and I think one of the themes or messages of this movie is that like there are different ways that you can interact with like or move on from like trauma and PTSD. And Brian, maybe because Paul Walker died, maybe this is always where the story was going to go. We can't tell, but he is able to find that like peace finally throughout this movie, and is able to like quote unquote retire. And then you have someone like Shaw, who just cannot. Like,
Yeah.
he is so like entrenched in it that there is no way for him to move on. Like the only thing he knows is, okay, my brother is in a coma, he's not dead, but I need to take revenge because that's what I do.
Well, I also think that in general, aside from the fact that they have moved more towards like the vigilante side of things,
Yeah.
the fam, they generally tend to have like a code and like some morals. Meanwhile,
Yes. Yeah.
Shaw only has his brother who is also like evil.
Not good. Yeah.
So it's not like he has any good influences around
Yeah.
him.
Although, okay, so that's another thing that I don't like about the eighth movie, is that I'm pretty sure, what's her name? You'll know her when you see her. Famous older English actress. She's introduced as their like mom, and she's like a good character, and it's like,
You're like, I don't believe
yeah,
this for a second.
like, what? Are you kidding me? Because you're right. Like, from what we know right now is the brothers have each other, and they've kind of been independent for a little while, but they're just like going off of one another, right? Like feeding one another's like immoral depravities or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas at least the fam have the fam. They are a family, and they can like center each other. Like
Yeah.
Dom and Brian center each other. Dom and Mia and Letty and Dom. All of those pairings, they're just, it's like pure love and goodness. Sorry, Shaw and Shaw.
Except
Fuck
that
you.
I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
I did get excited though on another note. And I was like, hey, I looked up and I was like, hey, it's the end of Tokyo Drift. Cool. I remembered this.
Like, hey. And it was like better quality. Like they like went back to the old footage and like updated it a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, Lucas Black looks really nice right there. Look at him go. And yeah, that was nice. Like a little tie-in and bringing him back. It's always nice to see. I love Tokyo Drift, as you know. So to be able to see those characters again just for a little bit, it's like,
No, and I think that helps me
Nostalgia.
remember the order now that I've finally seen all of them. And I'm like, okay, I understand where this comes in with the rest of the chronology, which for so long it's been like, I don't understand. It just happens somewhere.
Yeah. And I like that, like, parts of this movie happened at the same time as parts of Tokyo Drift. So, like, you remember the end of Tokyo Drift where Dom pulls up and he's, like, gonna race Lucas Black's character?
Yeah.
Sean? Is his name Sean?
Yeah.
Okay. It's been so while. And so he pulls up and he's gonna race him, and that's how, like, that movie ends. And I love the idea that, like, in the middle of, like, his house just got blown up. You know, everyone's traumatized. Han just died. That Dom's like, I'm gonna go to Tokyo and get Han's body, and also I'm going to race while I'm there because I'm fast and furious.
Because I'm mad, and this is how I take out my anger.
Because he just
this and
so
sledgehammers.
At the end of the third movie, you know, like oh, Han just died and he's just there for the funeral. Very sad, and I'm gonna race it. But now it's like all this other stuff is going on.
There's so much happening, and we're gonna fit this, and we're just gonna slide this right into the schedule.
Can't not race. Oh, I love these fucking movies.
You're ridiculous, and I adore them. I really only have one more thing that I really want to talk about, which is fucking, we are going to bring you back with the power of love.
Yeah!
Excuse
that was
me?
the last note I had.
What am I watching? Hold on. Excuse me.
Okay.
We're gonna defy physics. We might as well defy biology, too.
Oh my god. Like, that scene is so... Okay, on the one hand, I love the scene because you see, like, the desperation in Brian.
Yeah.
And in Letty in different ways. Like, that's such good acting in that scene. So I have to like it on that front. But on the other hand, stop giving him CPR. My words and love are gonna bring him back. What are you doing? The one I mean, I know this movie is ridiculous, but I feel like there's always one part of the movie where my, like, suspense of disbelief or whatever is just like, I have to stop it again.
That is literally where I draw the line for this one. I'm like,
no, I can't.
Like, the amnesia is not even an excuse. Like, please.
No. Like, give him CPR. Keep pressing on his chest. What is wrong
this works.
with you? And yet, I mean, I guess it did in the end. That's fine, I guess. And the look on Brian's face.
Yeah. Oh my god. No, I watched two ridiculous things like this within the last 2 days, and I cannot take any more. There was this, and the day before that. So I've been watching Avatar: The Last Airbender for the first time.
Oh my
god,
yeah.
And so Zuko just, like, did a good thing, and his body totally rejected it, and he's, like, so sick now, and it is the funniest thing to me. I can't stop thinking about it. He's like, wow, I did one good thing. I mean, I need to die now. Because it's so antithetical to my entire being.
Oh my god, I love Zuko.
I can't deal
I'm
with
so
that.
glad you're finally watching it. Sorry, an aside, but, like, oh man.
No.
What a good show.
But so those two things, each on subsequent days, like, first Zuko,
right after
and
each other,
and then Letty's like, we're going to bring Dom back with love. I'm like, what? Stop it. Everyone stop.
Do things normally. What are you doing?
Quit this.
Gotta love, you know, I don't know. It's like it turns into, like, a shonen anime, like, the power of love and friendship. That's the trope, right? I guess for a movie that's very tropey, it's very fair of them to go all in at the end.
It's true, and it is all about, like, familial love. I mean, like, this is the movie that has the line. No, the last movie was the movie that had the line. The most important thing will always be the people in this room. I think it was the last movie, actually, not this one.
Yeah. It's either Fast Five or the last one. I can't remember.
But, so I was going to say, like, it's almost like this is the one that has the line that, like, talks about the whole thing. No, this is the line that has the other whole thing, which is it's not just about being fast this time.
Yeah.
I'm also fucking furious.
He sounds fucking dead. I'm gonna go fucking. It's the horse in a hospital joke. I'm begging you to do it. I'm asking you to do it.
I want you to do it. I'm so crazy.
So fucking crazy.
I have a tank Mustang.
Oh wait, one more thing. I just remembered the fact that like I know they were trying to drive in like Brian's dad, but he like wore like jeans and like this like threadbare like dad jacket the entire time.
That was
like, till the end he put on like a bulletproof vest, which is good, but he's doing these like crazy stunts on that one road on the bus and he's wearing like something like a kid in high school would wear.
I did enjoy that, and I did like actually at the very beginning when you see him with like all the concentration, then you realize he's just like pulling up in the school drop off line. I was like, oh, that was sad to witness.
Yeah.
And then like the regular like stereotypical dad ineptitude.
Yes.
Like it's funnier because you're like, oh, the teacher's like, oh, well, you'll get the hang of it, and she thinks like, it's like a normal dad thing. It's like, no, it's not that. It's just this life is so totally different. That was good.
It's the trauma. It's about the trauma. Sorry, Teach. Oh, and this movie also has. We're jumping back and forth here now, but that's fine. We're at the end. But it's the line that is parodying that one TikTok, which we should retweet onto the AvengeGirls Twitter. But where he goes, "I don't got friends. I got family."
Yes.
Which is so like, quick, give me another word for family. Friends? Yes.
That is.
Oh my god.
That is cinema. That is true cinema.
It is.
True poetry.
It's the
true
height.
Art.
Yeah. The height of the series outside of, the other line that we mentioned. It's so good.
Quick, let's play Mad Libs.
Yeah. We're almost at the end, guys. We have Fate of the Furious in March. And then last I heard that they had just pushed back F9 until May. I don't know if I believe that.
Right.
Given that we're still in a pandemic, but a lot of other movies have been just releasing it on like HBO Max or something. So maybe, although I do want to see this in theaters, so I wouldn't mind them pushing it back. But also at the same time, I don't know when this is gonna ever end. So
yeah.
I'm
having the same conflicting feelings.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to finally see, because I've never seen a Fast and Furious movie in a theater. I'm like, cool, I want to go see one. But, I don't know.
It's hard.
Whatever it is, we'll figure it out.
Thank you guys for listening, as usual. Hit us up on Twitter or Instagram or technically Facebook.
Although it's not really super active there, but you know how our generation feels about that.
Yes, so we will respond on Twitter and Insta though.
Yes, so the next episode is Fate of the Furious next month.
So excited.
Until then, AvengeGirls out.